Chapo was the #1 bad guy in the world, but what set him apart was he was one hell of a CEO.
Number 10. Leonardo Notarbartolo.
Notarbartolo has said that he was born to be a thief.
You take a walk past the Antwerp Diamond District, and all you can see is a well-guarded fortress. Well, not for Leonardo Notarbartolo and his crew. He saw an opportunity for a big payday and began planning.
Using a video camera to record through a tiny hole in a bag that he carries on his person. And he's using it to record all sorts of information about the security.
The crew took a few years of careful groundwork to bypass the Diamond Center's secure vault. In February 2003, they struck and carted away over $100 million worth of jewelry without detection. In what was nicknamed the heist of the century, DNA evidence found on a sandwich and discarded trash led to Leonardo's arrest.
The genius is linked to the crime because his business card was found amongst the trash.
The stolen diamonds were never recovered, and Leonardo, despite being caught, denied most of it. To this day, much of the heist remains a mystery. Number 9. Al Capone.
Al Capone is the prototypical celebrity gangster. He's bigger than Chicago.
A crime boss respected for his charisma and disguise as a charitable figure, Al Capone ruled the underworld. Nicknamed Scarface from his early start in New York, he later moved to Chicago, where he rose to lead an Italian criminal empire. Capone grew this empire with precision, strategy, and also with violence. Always careful, Capone avoided direct involvement, often relying on bribery and his political influence to protect his empire. Though the St. Valentine's Day massacre was linked to him, no strong evidence tied him to the crime.
He wasn't in Chicago, he wasn't in the garage, and he hired outsiders to do it.
With no solid case of violence, federal authorities went after him for tax evasion. He was convicted, jailed, released, and eventually died of cardiac arrest.
Capone's larger-than-life mythology grew into a pop culture obsession after his death.
Number 8. Frank Abagnale.
You're one of the greatest con men of all time. You're the daddy of them all. What does it take to be a good con man?
What were you doing in your teens? For Frank Abagnale, he was beginning his journey into becoming one of the world's biggest con men. Before turning 21, he had already impersonated a pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, and a college professor without having any experience in those fields. His major crimes were forgery, check fraud, and using social engineering to manipulate his victims and institutions. He was arrested a few times and released. Nothing stopped him from his next exploit.
I truly believe, looking back on it now, that I truly believe I was able to accomplish all those things because I was just a teenage boy.
Frank went on to become a security consultant and an author. Although most of the claims have been disputed, his autobiography, Catch Me If You Can, inspired a film.
Are you a real-life pilot?
I sure am, little lady. What's your name?
Celine.
Celine, it's a pleasure to meet you.
We're left to wonder, did Frank actually turn his life around? Number 7. Adam Worth. Without any acts of violence, Adam Worth, the criminal mastermind, grew a global network of crime. What started off as a gang of pickpockets grew into organized robberies. After drawing the attention of U.S. law enforcement, he fled to Europe with his crime partner Charlie Bullard. There, they both continued their criminal enterprise under assumed identities. He was called the Napoleon of crime because he was elusive and far-reaching. He was mostly known for his part in the theft of the Duchess of Devonshire painting. Worth liked the painting, kept it hidden, and didn't try to sell it. He was later arrested and convicted in 1893. His legacy inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Professor Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes series. Number 6. D.B. Cooper.
He either got away or else he sure made a big hole in the ground up there.
Who really is D.B. Cooper? That's a question we all keep asking and may never get an answer to. In 1971, Dan Cooper hijacked a commercial flight, claiming he had a bomb, and demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes in ransom. After releasing the passengers, he took the money and parachuted into the night without a trace. Despite decades of FBI investigations and multiple suspects, Cooper was never identified, and the case was eventually closed. No violence, no casualties, just with sheer brilliance and planning, Cooper pulled off one of the most remarkable crimes in modern history. Even as his story has inspired books, films, and songs, we're still left to wonder.
Over the years, more than 1,000 suspects have been scrutinized.
When this case happened in the 1970s, the era of DNA was not upon us.
Number 5. El Chapo.
El Chapo Guzman is a brand. He's a mystique.
Joaquin Guzman, popularly known as El Chapo, is no stranger in the world of crime. He, in fact, was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the world's largest drug trafficking networks based in Mexico. El Chapo ultimately changed the game, running drug smuggling operations seamlessly through tunnels and generating billions.
As you can see, the tunnel has lighting and it runs south, down into Mexico.
His influence, built on bribery and violence, made it possible for him to escape prison twice. At one point, he was even ranked among the most powerful people in the world.
Chapo was the #1 bad guy in the world, but what set him apart was he was one hell of a CEO.
That alone shows El Chapo wasn't just any drug lord. He was a highly sophisticated, intelligent, and ruthless criminal. He was later arrested again in Mexico, then extradited to the U.S., where he was sentenced to life in prison. Number 4. The Unabomber.
Ted Kaczynski is a very interesting case because evidently he was a pretty well-adapted kid in elementary school and actually was considered to be something of a leader.
Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber, was one of the most intelligent yet dangerous criminals in U.S. history. He started off a very promising academic career as a mathematician and was recognized for his brilliance. Then he abandoned everything and went into solitude, which marked the beginning of his deadly path.
In 1969, Kaczynski suddenly and unexpectedly resigned from his position at Berkeley.
He was responsible for 16 bombings, leaving a few dead and a lot more injured. His bombs were carefully made by hand, a method that left no traces leading back to him. For nearly 2 decades, the Unabomber eluded the FBI. With threat of further attacks, he forced the media to publish his 35,000-word manifesto. This led to his arrest and conviction, all thanks to his brother.
Ted's brother, David, had read the manifesto, and phrases jumped out at David right away, and he had to try to push them down. That can't be, it can't be.
He later died in prison. Number 3. Charles Ponzi.
A brash and confident Charles Ponzi convinces thousands of excited investors that he can double their money in just 3 months.
With a few dollars and a hope to make millions, Charles Ponzi migrated to the U.S. from Italy. He became a criminal architect that went on to create the famous Ponzi scheme. How did he come about this? He found a weakness in the system of IRCs which enabled him to make money. But instead of doing that alone, he leveraged the greed of humans by promising to pay them 50% of their investments in 45 days. He used funds from new investors to pay earlier ones, a system that later failed as it wasn't feasible. He was arrested and charged. His investors lost over $20 million.
Ponzi stands with Newton and with Einstein, with the great creators of history. His name is enshrined. And I'm sure that he would be delighted.
Nothing compared to the loss of $18 billion in Bernie Madoff's similar fraud decades later.
Madoff was someone who was very much in the thick of things on Wall Street and generally respected.
Number 2. Victor Lustig. Criminals don't come any smarter than this. Victor Lustig was so skilled, he even had the 10 Commandments for con men attributed to him. Fluent in multiple languages, he pulled off crimes across countries with ease. Impersonating a government official and using forged documents, he was famously known as the man who sold the Eiffel Tower twice. Lustig was behind so many other scams and evaded law enforcement using his wits. He also was involved in a counterfeiting operation and tricked unsuspecting victims with his infamous money box scam. Lustig's scams weren't just smart, they were bold. He even managed to swindle the infamous gangster Al Capone.
And he said, Mr. Capone, I need to borrow $50,000 to finance a scam, and I'll be happy to pay you back double that money 2 months from today.
Eventually, Lustig was arrested, charged for counterfeiting, and died in prison. Number 1. Pablo Escobar.
Escobar was 100 times worse than I thought. He was a maniac.
One name that comes to mind when you think about cocaine smuggling is Pablo Escobar. Starting small in the crime world, he went on to form and lead the infamous Medellin cartel. Escobar expanded the enterprise through his vast distribution network of drugs into the U.S. He bribed as many people as he could and killed those who rejected.
As the famous phrase went, you either take silver or you take lead. You take the bribe or we'll kill you.
At the peak of his criminal career, he made billions and helped the poor in his community. He was loved and feared. He also infiltrated politics and was elected to Congress. He negotiated his own surrender on the condition of no extradition to the U.S. and built himself a luxurious prison, which he later escaped. Months afterwards, Escobar was fatally shot by the police as he attempted to escape arrest. Who do you think is the smartest among these criminals? Let us know in the comments section.
On April 3rd, 1996, FBI agents finally arrested Kaczynski at his Montana cabin.